tall enough for strong enough to ride a motorcycle. How can you just
Okay, so I've seen a lot of very informative videos out there on power slides and pivot turns, and now it's time to actually try it myself. Alright, welcome back to 1 Liter ADV. I'm Yev. I'm here in the middle of nowhere. It's a more warm day, but one of the things is there's some things I'd like to get better at. Like I got the V-Strom 1000. It can be top heavy sometimes, and it's kind of hard to turn around in narrow trails. You know, you gotta do like a 15-point turn. So one of the things is I want to be able to do like a power turn or whatever it's called, where you stop, you give it some gas, and you twist your bike around. So watch me as I try to get better at that, maybe as I fail. Hopefully this will be helpful and entertaining to some degree. So let's start. So I'm not going to bore you with the entire practice session that I had, but I definitely want to show you the very first attempts. I had a few tips in mind, but that was really about it. The tip that I'm referring to is the following. When trying to slide the bike using the throttle from a dead stop, have your inside foot, the one on the ground, facing towards the direction that you are wanting to go. And I honestly don't remember where or who I heard this from, but it's not my own tip. But it's very important. If you don't point your foot the right direction, then your slide will be cut short from the limited rotation of your leg. Obviously, you don't want to injure yourself here either. In case you're wondering, I have a 2018 Suzuki V-Strom 1000 with the Dunlop Trail Max Mission tires. And they probably have about 50% tread left in this footage. And I know that some of you viewers might think that doing this on a V-Strom is ridiculous and that it probably belongs on the pavement. But guess what? It's the only bike I have. And my preferred riding style evolved ever since I purchased this V-Strom many years ago. Like many riders, I'm pretty sure, who are first introduced to ADV bikes, I didn't even know how much I would enjoy the off-road until I began trying it. Of course, I grew up with dirt bikes, but I would have never thought that such a thing was even possible with such a large motorcycle. Anyway, back to the power slides. About 20 runs into it, I realized that practicing the stop and turn maneuver wasn't really the primary goal here. The biggest challenge for me was actually trying to, and maybe this is the case for a lot of ADV riders, is getting comfortable with your motorcycle not having any traction, especially understanding how it will then react. Because of this, I started going around this larger loop more and more and trying to slide, like power slide, at a rolling pace, and then going back and forth to the stop and slide maneuver. I also decided to start with left turn only, since it's my preferred direction. And I think the reason for this is it allows me to cover my rear brake at all times. I do realize that eventually I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone and practice doing this while going clockwise. So I guess I got bored for a moment and decided to cool off into second and third gear, and I definitely enjoy losing the rear traction while going at a faster pace. And I think the reason for this might be it's because it's easier. You have all that momentum and centripetal force on both wheels when you're moving fast. The bike feels a lot more stable, and each input from the rider has much less immediate response. This behavior is pretty much opposite to what I've been doing all along in first gear. because at such a slow speed, any drop in the throttle immediately wants to send the front wheel diving into the sand, which more on that later. Okay, I guess the drone lost me, and there I am. And the goal here was not to ruin any of that precious soybean plant. Okay, back to the playground, especially since my other camera is still rolling on the tripod. It would be a shame if I came back and it was gone. So obviously one day of doing this doesn't all of a sudden make you an expert, but it was definitely nice to dedicate all my riding time to just one thing, over and over again. Now, if anything, I feel much more comfortable with the lack of traction on my V-Strom, and I certainly won't hesitate to try and, pivot slide the bike when needing to turn around in a tight trail. And the main thing I learned was that when you need to break the rear wheel loose, you need to pop the clutch a little bit. You cannot just accelerate smoothly. The rear wheel absolutely has to break traction. And don't worry, the bike won't cartwheel out from underneath you. I think what I might do is, in the next training video, I'm going to recap what I learned and see if it feels any better on my first attempt on a fresh day. For whatever reason, as soon as you get off your bike and take a break, jumping it back on sort of feels like it resets your comfort level. The soft sand once again becomes intimidating, and the loss of traction feels weird to the body. All this to say, I want to be able to jump back on the bike any random day, and at the very least feel more comfortable around this type of riding. Definitely stay tuned for the next video, and hopefully we can practice and learn to be better skilled riders together. Enough time for an outro. So I think what I want you guys in the comments to tell me is, do you think I should be just learning from standing up and learning, or should I be doing what I'm doing now? Because I feel like sitting down is easier right now. But I feel like also the experts would say, like, hey, you gotta get comfortable with standing and doing these kind of turns. And I think that's gonna be the answer, but I don't know. You guys tell me, because when I do stand, I feel like the front wheel it wants to dive a little more, and maybe that's just because it's more sensitive to my weight lean when I let go, and it kind of falls forward and digs in. I don't know. Definitely feels more stable when I sit, and maybe that's because I'm better at putting my weight on the back when I'm sitting. When I'm standing, I probably have too much weight in the front. Therefore, anytime I let go of the throttle abruptly, it leans forward, the front digs into the sand, and you're skiing. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you like these kind of videos, because there's other techniques I want to learn. Jumping over a log, jumping the bike into a pond. No, just kidding. Maybe. On a hot day. There's a lot of techniques out there. I'm not Chris Birch, but definitely inspired by all that stuff though. So hopefully you guys are too, because that's what makes these bikes so fun. When you have a 500 pound, more than 500 pound hunk of beast under you with over 100 horsepower, I don't care about dirt bikes at that point. I just want to help this farmer till his farm here. All right, see you guys in the next video. Whoever thought that the Alpine Stars, I can't remember the name of this jacket now. I think I'm a little overheated.